have changed their position from being anti-mining to being anti-irresponsible mining. I think a very important leap in our battle to change the hearts and minds of the youth of this country. Unfortunately, my bosses ignore a last question I put. And the last question, which always gets 100% affirmative answer, is, does JB Bailon deserve a raise? These are images of the young people we have brought to Rio Tuba, who I call the new face of mining. The gentleman in shades is Chris Chu, rain or shine player. There are rain or shine players there. You have a comedian named Kakay Bautista, who is from ABS-CBN, and who, before she boarded the plane, told me, "Sir, anti-mining ako ah." When we returned, she didn't have nice words for her boss, GL. This is the first time that we've even brought UP student leaders to a mine site. I'm sure Sandy will agree with me that during our time at UP, you can never imagine to bring the UP Student Council chairman to a mine site. They've been there. Ateneo Student Council chairman to a mine site. They've been there. And the nice thing about the Ateneo Student Council trip to the mine site was this. You may not know it, but there are 5 Ateneo universities in the Philippines: Naga, Cagayan de Oro, Davao, Zamboanga, and Manila. There is an association called Buklod Atenista, which is the association of all 5 student councils. Earlier this year, they were being asked by anti-mining interests to sign a petition against open pit mining. 2 of the 5 schools were for it. And before Buklod Atenista can sign a total position, the Ateneo de Manila Student Council chairman, who had been to Rio Tuba, said, "Before you sign that, I suggest we go to Rio Tuba." So we brought the 4 other university student councils to Rio Tuba. What is the result? Buklod Atenista refused to sign the anti-open pit mining petition. Again, more pictures of student leaders going to Rio Tuba. But there is a bigger benefit, and that is when visitors or critics become converts, who then become advocates. I think if the high point of my life at Coca-Cola was being known as the escort of Pokwang to a PBA game, the highlight of my life this year will be the bonus in December, but before that, this is my chance, you see. But before that, the highlight has been this. 2 months ago, I received an invitation from the UST Student Council inviting me to speak at a forum for responsible mining. I mean, I walked into the auditorium and there were 200 students, and one professor was pissed off because 200 students were starting to believe that responsible mining is possible and has a place in national development. And who led the forum? The UST Student Council. And so, Sandy, if my words today will not have any direct effect on the stock price of our company, I am hopeful that by sharing these insights today, we as an industry, which gathers in this room so very often to give each other group hugs because outside we are bombarded with criticism, will finally find the energy to win back the hearts and minds of young people, especially out there, who are being told everything that is wrong about mining, but who just need a chance to see for themselves what responsible mining really is. And so if I have disappointed some of you who were ready to call their stockbrokers, let me assure you that the best thing you can do today is to call your stockbrokers and buy Nickel Asia. But the second best thing you can do today is to join us in that effort, because we cannot cede the ground to critics who share nothing but baseless information. And if it takes us to bring students to our mine sites because it's equivalent of our plant tours, then we must all do it. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Hi, Mars Buwan from Pacific Strategies and Assessments. And just before my questions, just a side note. I'm a member of Association of Political Science Majors. And last time I attended a conference at UP, I met several of the students you brought to Tuba. And when I was talking to them, they were just, had very good words for Nickel Asia. And of course you, yes. So my question is, we've received information that there are a number of politicians in the Caraga region where you have interest in, who are pushing for requiring mining companies operating in the area to process the mineral ores locally instead of exporting them out. And that would mean requiring them to build processing plants and doing everything here. And what we're getting is that they were pretty much inspired by the operations of PHPAO. Can you comment on this? Do you think it's feasible, it's practical, and would the mining industry support something like it?
I cannot speak for the mining industry. No, I can also speak for a company. Anyway, we're covered by the desire to have a processing plant. But as a Filipino, I think there is benefit in being able to export value-added materials rather than simply ore. In fact, my first reaction when I first went to Tuba as a new hire was, where are all those ships going? I said, to China. I said, are you sure are they dumping them in the Spratlys and making new islands? So if we process them here, they don't get the soil which they could be used to building new islands, right? So, but if you ask me again, I think there is of great value to the country if we can export more of processed material than of raw. That's my personal opinion.
Thank you.
Do you actually toll process for other mines? No, you don't have capacity for that, or no? Just enough for you guys. Okay. Yes, Tom.
Tom Henderson, St. Augustine. Great presentation, by the way. Really appreciate that. We totally agree with the idea of educating the young people in the Philippines. But one of the, at least as a foreign investing group, one of the areas that we also see as an opportunity, I'm not sure what all is being done, but it's actually changing mindsets at the political, at the national level, and getting advocacy at that level that would support the growth of the mining sector. Do you have some thoughts on that?
I am sure you're aware that you have many friends among politicians, decent ones, who agree with you that responsible mining is possible, but they do not have the guts to speak out. That is because they fear or they feel that public opinion is still anti-mining. Unless that is changed, or unless they sense that there is some change in the public sentiment, then you will not have these allies of ours speak out. So that is what we have to change. No? So in fact, according to there was a forum in UP where our good friend from a network foundation came over, and I think she was surprised when she was booed. To me, that is an indication that there is a slow change which we have to accelerate. When that happens, then everything else will follow. It's a domino effect.
Yes.
Hi, Nikki Wallace from Cardno. I noticed you have amazing photos of forests and greenery, which is great from a marketing standpoint. But my question is, does your information go more in depth than this? Do you have baseline studies data? Do you have monitored data? Because as any scientist, biology scientist knows anyway, every tree and every forest is not created equal. And if you have that information that you can share to the public, showing that you're not just making it more green and more pretty to look at, and that you're actually adding value to biodiversity and to environmental services for the earth.
Very good question. I mean, to show you that we do have that in Tuba, you might be surprised to find out, as we have found out, that the plant species in Palawan are not common to the rest of the Philippines. It tells you, as our foresters told us, that Palawan is part of the Malaysian landmass more than Luzon or Visayas or Mindanao. And that is why Dr. Ranes is very careful as to what type of plant species are planted. He has all of that. In fact, I think if you could have him as a guest speaker, he would be the better person to enlighten you on all of that. But he has all of that.
as in connection with that, I remember a conversation I had with a professor from NIMS. You can confirm this. But in the entire island chain in the Philippines, there are 2 islands that were not originally part of the stuff that came out of the sea, right? And that's Aklan or Panay, and Palawan. Of course, we don't want to build that up because somebody might argue it drifted from, that big place. But that's an interesting point. There's the 2 islands that drifted from somewhere.